New research reveals an alarming finding in India. Liver disorders are reaching epidemic proportions in the country, with close to 40% of adult Indians suffering from various stages of liver disease. 40%. And worse, 35% of our children, or 1 out of 3 children in India, are afflicted with some form of liver disease.
There are two ways. One is the journey of extra fat, surplus fat in the liver. And one is the liver the fat which has spilled out. So let's divide the extra surplus fat in the liver. Now, if there is extra fat more than 10% and the cells are ballooned, the body's immune cells, the white cells say, this cell is not good, let us kill it. They will kill that cell, and that is a hepatitis, cell death of livers, and that is the first stage of hepatitis due to fat. We call it non-alcoholic. Steato means fat hepatitis, fat-induced hepatitis. More often, the acidity is related to your impaired metabolic functions. So remember, people who are overweight, obese, or those who eat late, they have acidity, all of them. So I'll tell you 10 simple people who can self-test and diagnose without coming, and symptoms will come to later. So anybody who is overweight or obese means the waist is above 80 centimeter of a female and male above 90 centimeter, or the BMI is above 23, has fatty liver. All diabetics should get checked up for fatty liver. Maybe majority of them will have fatty liver. Those who have high cholesterol, triglyceride, fats should check for. Now the symptoms. People, those who have extra fat in the liver generally have extra fat in their muscles, they have extra fat in their other organs, and they get exhausted. They say, by 3 o'clock I feel very tired, I don't have any energy. Well, get your metabolism, get your liver health checkup. It should be 170 minus 170 kg. If the parents have got diabetes, blood pressure, obesity, then 170 minus 105. So the weight is 65. If you're over that, you probably may have fatty liver.
Nothing but the truth. Hello, I'm Raj Chengappa of India Today and your host for Nothing But the Truth. This is my weekly X-ray of key issues that concern you without holding back on the truth. We all tend to take our livers for granted. Yes, our livers. But you may end up paying dearly for that neglect. That's because the human liver is the largest internal organ in our bodies. Not just that, it is our largest immune gland. It weighs about 1.5 kgs for adults and is slightly bigger than the palm of your hand, but it is the silent powerhouse of our body, responsible for over 500 vital functions spanning digestion, detoxification, nutrient storage, and even excretion of toxic waste. It works silently in the back office, multitasking and not letting us know how much work it really does. But new research reveals an alarming finding in India. Liver disorders are reaching epidemic proportions in the country, with close to 40% of adult Indians suffering from various stages of liver disease. 40%. And worse, 35% of our children, or 1 out of 3 children in India, are afflicted with some form of liver disease. 1 out of 3 Indian children are afflicted with some form of liver disease. Now, excess alcoholic consumption was earlier considered one of the main causes of liver disease. Not anymore. Now an affliction called as the non-alcoholic fatty liver is the main cause of the disease. Non-alcoholic fatty liver. That's the key. The surprising findings are that even if you don't consume alcohol or be overweight and obese, you can still fall prey to liver disease. And if you do not treat liver diseases early, it leads to a cascading range of serious ailments. In fact, it is now one of the leading causes of death in India, with an average 3 lakh Indians, or 300,000 Indians, dying every year of liver disease. This, by the way, is almost double the figure, mortality figure than of liver diseases that is reported in China. India now, in fact, has the dubious distinction of being the global epicenter of liver disease. So serious is the issue that India Today has featured the threat in its latest cover story. So in this episode, we would like to look at the new danger of liver diseases, which, as I said earlier, has reached epidemic proportions in India. What are the causes? What are the symptoms? How can it be treated? And what you can do to ensure that you have a healthy liver. To help us understand the seriousness of the issue and what needs to be done, I'm delighted to welcome at this stage Dr. Shivkumar Sarin, a leading Indian physician and hepatologist who was responsible for setting up the premier Institute of Liver and Biliary Sciences in Delhi. Dr. Sarin is considered a world authority on the subject of liver disease, and we are fortunate to have him with us. So, Dr. Sarin, welcome to Nothing But the Truth.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Dr. Sarin, and thank you for being present here. Let's begin with talking about what we know about the liver and the vital role it plays in our bodily function. Why is it such a key organ for the body?
Well, first, thanks to you for raising the issue and raising the bar for public awareness, and also bringing it out in your most famous and most read India Today weekly. And you have always picked up issues which are of national importance and of relevance to each and every person. Before I go to the fatty liver, I will recall several years ago I wrote a piece in India Today on hepatitis B. And based on that and several others, the national programs came and everybody became aware that hepatitis B is a cause and mother to baby transmission, and many people joined hands. Hepatitis B now is a small part because it is a virus which affects the liver. But what affects and what you have raised the issue is maybe percent of Indians, maybe even more, have extra fat in the liver, and the kids are going to have it. And this surplus fat is not good. Actually, anything surplus other than energy and muscles are, not good. If you are strong, if you are surplus energy or surplus maybe youth, it's okay. Fatty liver is a concern because of three reasons. Let me
Right.
make it very clear. Those who have fatty liver, those who are predisposed to fatty liver, and how do you prevent fatty liver? Let me first handle all those who have fatty liver and they want to know why I got it. The fatty liver means if your liver has more than 5% fat, a 1500-gram liver, if more than 75 grams is fat, is not healthy, and 10% and above certainly is a fatty liver. It's a liver which is less functional. It is occupied by fat rather than enzymes and other things. So it's not a good liver. Then those who have already got fatty liver, what are their risks? These
Right.
people.
But before we get to the risk stage, Dr. Sarin, just describe the function of the liver. We know very little about it. We just take it for granted it exists. But can you just describe, you've handled surgeries, what does the liver really do and how does it look like?
Well, liver, as you probably have also, I saw the beautiful India Today story. Liver does all the functions which are required to give you the food absorbed. You eat and you forget about it. Then you get up again, you eat. But from the intestine, through the bacterial processing, all that food goes to the liver, which is the first good stop to process the food into energy, conversion of food to energy, and distributing it to different body organs. Brain, heart, kidney, lungs is the function of liver. But two important things people forget. One by liver. Second, all the extra energy goes into liver and gets converted into fat. So your fat storage is the liver, your sugar control is the liver. And of course, it detoxifies, it causes all your immunity, your color of your face is all liver.
Really? Okay. And the size, I would gather, Dr. Sarin, is that it's almost a little bigger than a fist, quite a fat organ if you look at it in terms of width and depth. And it has two lobes, right? There's a large lobe and a small lobe. It's a kind of a wedge-shaped, like the prehistoric stones that you have, but a much larger size that is there. Uh, so how describe it? I mean, what is inside a liver that we never see it when at all?
Well, you're working like and talking like a doctor somewhat. Yes, liver is an organ which is beautifully made and carved. It has two lobes. The right lobe, the bigger one on your right side, is the bigger lobe. It is about 60-65% of the liver weight, and the left lobe. And the two lobes are joined, and it carries all your bile, pith, जिसे कहते हैं agni. All that bile is taken from the liver into the intestine, and the bile is the thing which actually digests all your food and fat and then gets it absorbed. And the liver also has cells, billions and trillions of cells, and these cells regenerate by themselves. So, liver is an organ which does all the functions. It is of the size about 1500 grams, 1.5 kilogram, and it regenerates itself. It has the potential, it never ages, it never stops,
That's
unlike
remarkable.
Abhi
I mean,
dhoka.
it gets damaged, it's able to regenerate and rebuild itself to its original size.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
Now, that's
certainly.
why I wanted to come to that. When you talk of fatty deposits on the liver, I gather these cells are hexagonal in shape, these liver cells that are there. Now, what happens to these if these fat accumulates on it? What does it do to your liver? You said when you eat excessively or there is high glucose content or whatever it is and you're not able, burning it, these fats tend to deposit in your liver, not necessarily around your waist, but also in your liver.
You're very right, and you're using the right term. Hexagonal is the six angles. The liver cell is a hexagonal shape which has six angles. But consider as if you are sitting in a room, and this room has air and you can breathe air. But if you pack a lot of cotton into it, you can't breathe, you will go into a corner, maybe you'll go to the next room. If you fill the next room also with cotton, you'll go to the corridor, and if you fill that, you'll go to the road.
Right.
Similarly, the liver cell has all its, energy factory, mitochondria, and other organelles. But if you fill it with fat, the mitochondria goes to a side, the nucleus goes to a side, the cell is not functioning well. And that is an unhealthy liver cell in which insulin will not be able to enter to do its function to make energy, and therefore fat will deposit. So a cell of liver with fat is dysfunctional. It's like a cotton packed room where nucleus, your energy source, functioning goes away. And if this fat is extra, it will spill out into your bile, into your blood, and you have a circular fire alarm in your blood, extra cholesterol, extra triglyceride, and this will deposit into essential areas and will come to the risk again. But remember, the most worrisome part of the liver fat is the insulin resistance. More and more insulin is produced to get into the liver cell which has fat, and that causes pancreas to get exhausted, and over a time it gives up to give you diabetes. So diabetes in adults is a liver disease. If you understand that, you will probably protect your liver much more.
Now, you were talking of the fatty liver and the definition, there are various stages of it. The first stage, as you said, if 10% of your liver is covered with fatty material, that's seen as the first stage. Now, is that stage reversible or does it sort of progress to the next stage and more dangerous stages that is there?
So one of the best, medically planned interview, Raj, I must compliment you. So there are two ways. One is the journey of extra fat, surplus fat in the liver, and one is
Right.
the liver which has the fat which has spilled out. So let's divide the extra surplus fat in the liver. Now, if there is extra fat more than 10% and the cells are ballooned, the body's immune cells, the white cells say, this cell is not good, let us kill it. They will kill
Oh,
that cell, and that is a hepatitis, cell death of livers, and that is the first stage of hepatitis due to fat. We call it non alcoholic Steato means fat hepatitis, fat induced hepatitis. And
Right.
it is like a burning in the liver. Liver is getting burned. And how to try to heal? Healing is by scarring. So this injury is healed by formation of a scar and liver gets slowly scarred, and then you have stages of fibrosis, fibrosis 1, 2, 3, 4, and stage 4 fibrosis is like cirrhosis of the liver. So how the journey starts? Extra fat, death of cells containing fat, healing by scarring, and the grade of a scar. And this journey in some people is very rapid, maybe in 10 to 15 years, in some it may take longer. And you asked me whether it is reversible? Yes, but to a stage. If you get a deep burn, the scar is always in your whole life. But superficial burns, grade 1, grade 2 fibrosis, you can certainly reverse. So, therefore, an early alarm and knowledge like what you are asking should make you aware.
Now, I wanted to come to that. How do I know? See, the liver functions so well that I don't seem to, really think my liver is a problem till it actually begins to collapse on me. So, what are the first symptoms that, which you need to take cognizance of? Do you get, indigestion? Do you get a bloating feeling? Do you get, the most serious jaundice? Where do you begin to know, okay, there is some problem, or you might have flatulence? Where do you begin to know that, look, your liver is not functioning optimally?
Yeah, one is symptoms and one is awareness.
Right.
So, people would have a little bit of acidity and they'll pop in a pill. But more often, the acidity is related to your, impaired metabolic functions. So remember, people who are overweight, obese, or those who eat late, they have acidity, all of them. So I'll tell you 10 simple people who can self-test and diagnose without coming to, and symptoms will come to later. So anybody who is overweight or obese means the waist is above 80 centimeter of a female and male above 90 centimeter, or the BMI is above 23, has fatty liver. All
Right.
diabetics should get checked up for fatty liver. Maybe majority of them will have fatty liver. Those who have high cholesterol, triglyceride, fats should check for fatty liver. Those whose parents have diabetes, blood pressure, hypertension, cancer, sudden heart disease, death, coronary, or kidney disease, they all should get checked up. Those who are snoring, you may enjoy that. Those who snore may also have a fatty liver, and those who have black lines on their neck or have warts or moles on their neck, they all can should get a screen for fatty liver. So obese people certainly.
Right.
Now the symptoms. People, those who have extra fat in the liver generally have extra fat in their muscles, they have extra fat in their other organs, and they get exhausted. They say, by 3 o'clock, I feel very tired. I don't have any energy. Well, get your metabolism, get your liver health checkup. People have gas, people have acidity, people have some heaviness on the upper abdomen, or some people actually feel very sleepy in the day rather than in the night. You feel tired. All these people, yes, formation of gallbladder stone, or people who have got high, blood pressure, they all must get. So, symptom wise, blood pressure is a symptom of heart having extra fat given by the liver. So
Right.
diabetes, the fat is given because of liver. So liver symptoms are manifested first in the liver itself, and then other organs speak for you.
Interesting. And if you come to treatment of the first stage of fatty liver, okay, we get this. I go there, and the doctor says, "Look, you're stage 1 fatty liver." What would you advise that person to do? What are the 4 or 5 things, as you mentioned? You had 10 reasons to go and check up. What would be the 10 things that you need to do to ensure that you are before you get to the dangerous stage of liver
Want to
degeneration?
know all the tricks, Raj? All the tricks told
Yes.
without. All right. So you assure me one thing, that all the India Today and maybe all your readers, I hope by this message, everyone who listens is a doctor in oneself. You can own your body. you can get well, and I'll tell you all the tricks. No secrets, nothing is
Great.
kept. So, how do you first of all test it? I told you those who are predisposed to get rid, first get into shape. The first rule is that get in shape, do not have extra baggage on you. Like suppose somebody has 170 centimeter height, he should be 170 minus 170 kg. If the parents have got diabetes, blood pressure, obesity, then 170 minus 105. So the weight is 65. If you're
Right.
over that, you probably may have fatty liver. For females, 170 minus 105. If parents have it, then 110. So if you're over that weight, you have fatty liver. So first you can diagnose yourself. If your blood sugar is high, cholesterol, you have diagnosed. Now, how do you correct it? That is something which starts. First, you consider fatty liver as a fire alarm and you have to extinguish it. So, change your mindset. The first important thing is don't accept it. यार उसको भी है, my friend also has, my husband. No, you have to say, I start today, and that's what message to all the India Today readers and all those who are listening. So wait, number one. Number two, you have to burn out extra. It's like a chartered accountant. Less income, more expenditure, and you're in a way healthy. So would be more expenditure would be by burning calories. And for that, remember, walking or anything where you have not sweat is not an exercise. It is good. It's good for heart. But after sweating, the exercise it starts, and I strongly recommend if your healthy heart is okay, then 30 to 45 minutes of sweating a day is required. Good old days, people used to do their own work, but now they are very rich. They have a PA, they have somebody who carries all your stuff. You can't even carry your bag. That's not good. Carry your bag.
Right.
Make sure you. And there's a very famous story of a London bus driver. The London bus driver vis-a-vis London conductors, there used to be double-decker buses in UK in 40s. This
Right.
is a story of 40s. So the conductors did not have more of heart attack, more of they lived longer because they were doing 30 times up and down. But the driver was only sitting. And that is the basis of starting the London bus driver study made people realize the importance of exercise and walking. So the first is weight, second is your exercise, and third, very important is what you eat, when you eat, and how much you eat. You want to know about it?
Yes, of course. I mean, I think all of us are paying with rapt attention because it concerns our life.
My problem is when I tell them, people say, no, 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 you're too strict. they, they want to change my name from Sarin to and anyway. So my message is you must know what kind of food you are eating. When you go, you get the best oil for your car, your best engine, best wiring, and therefore you must know what you should eat. And people don't pay attention. They look at it, oh, fast food, very tasty, go in. Well, you can go once in a while. So to eat, remember, if you are above 40, then you should be ekahari, eat once a day. You can have small salads, or you can have low calorie fruits and all that, low sugar fruits. Two, avoid all those things which are having high sugar content. O's, for example, you have fructose, which is very common in all the syrups. Salad, I'm eating salad, but the salad dressing. So all those are those things which have lot of fructose. All those drinks, the summer is coming and you will see tons of these being sold. I'm not against them. I'm not their enemy. But be aware that all that colas have fructose. So fructose, you have uric acid will go high, which is liver dependent, and also you add fat. So first is all the carbohydrate intake is reduced, and fat, even the Prime Minister has said very strongly to reduce 10% of oil intake. Well, oil may be sometimes reused oil, Butter is good for health. In my mind, ghee is very good. But you have to burn and you have to see that the amount you use, you should be able to burn it. In one
Right.
spoon of sugar, you have 5 grams, which gives you about 20 calories. 1 gram of carbohydrate sugar is 4 calories. But if you take 2 spoons of sugar, it is equal to 1 spoon of ghee. 1 gram
Right.
of ghee is 9 calories. 1 gram of sugar is 4 calories. So 2 spoons of sugar, think as if you have taken, a spoon of ghee. So remember that your calories you must know what you are eating. That's what my message is. And decrease your carbs. You can have ghee, but a small amount. And of course, plenty of uncooked raw food. 40 to 60% of your total food should be as natural as human beings were. Don't make a living as an artificial living.
And
When to
if
eat
you,
is
yeah.
another thing. Okay, please go ahead.
No, 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 finish. When to eat is interesting. Yeah.
And also remember that as far as food items are concerned, for different age groups, different. You don't need supplements of foods. Your natural food selection should be careful. Pregnant mothers or those who are doing, they should actually have more different calcium and others. But I would say don't take pills, just have food, good choices. And one thing which people will not like, on your birthday, avoid having, cakes, 20 gram. Oh, he's 50 years old, 50 kg cake. No, no, no. I would say get 50 kg of things which have less calories. Change the mindset of giving children and adults all these high calorie content. Now,
What about alcohol, one, and second, beverages like coffee and tea?
yeah, that's a gorilla in the house. You already have a problem, and then you have a gorilla in the house in the form of alcohol and beverages. Well, the the country and a lot of governments earn a lot of revenue because of alcohol. So my saying may not be liked, but if you as an individual want to be healthy, remember alcohol is a socially accepted poison and try to avoid it. It
Right.
causes injury to the liver and all other organs. It has no added advantage except you feel, oh, I'm an elite person. I am moving in the circle where everyone drinks, and if I don't drink, I'll be an outcast. You can have a wine glass or something or a bottle, maybe on your birthday, your wife's, or maybe very close friends. But I would say avoid alcohol in any form. Especially, alcohol is not to be used if you are obese or you have diabetes or if you have a family history, because in them, the alcohol causes extra damage. Nowadays, we have people in their 20s, early 30s, girls also coming for liver transplant. You really start crying. The guy has not even married and he's transplanted.
Which is a very good point I wanted to check with you. Of course, finish with this beverages. Are you okay to have coffee, tea, or you're saying that also is
No, no, no.
a no-no?
Co- Coffee is good for liver. It actually
Okay.
clears all the fat from the liver. It prevents liver cancer, liver cirrhosis. It is scientifically one of the best. But that doesn't mean that you have alcohol and you have good food and then you have coffee and say, well, Dr. Sarin said so, I can have coffee. And also, coffee can increase blood pressure. But it is a
Right.
good thing, and you can have tea, but all these should be with no or less sugar.
Right. You were talking about this young girl that came with liver replacement. Now, one of the issues in India is that children seem to be having a high percentage. 1 out of 3 children, they say 35% of our children have fatty liver problems. Why is that happening? Normally, children burn their energies pretty, I mean, all their calories pretty well. What's the reason in India?
It's a very, very good and important question, close to my heart. So, I told you those who have fatty liver. Now, the second part is those who are not aware that they have fatty liver, and these are kids. For them and for the rest of the people who do not have children, the message is, suppose you want to set up a factory. You will have preparation, there will be ground survey, there will be engineering, structure and everything you prepare, and it takes months or years sometimes, even for a house. But has anybody thought how we prepare ourselves, me or my partner, for having a child? You never think about it. You say, oh, we should have a child this year, and you plan. But not knowing that the child is made from you or your spouse. So the original manufacturer are you, and if you are defective, you will have a child who is unlikely to be healthy. And this has been proven by a recent study which was published in one of the most prestigious journal of American Medical Association, JAMA. 7 million children, 7 million people were screened. Those where parents were obese, the children, 87% of the children were overweight and obese. The parents are unhealthy, the child is bound to become obese or bound to have. So, why the obesity is increasing in the young kids is because the parents were not healthy and they were not aware. Nobody told them to prepare themselves to have a child, to be healthy before having a child. And the better part of it is those children who were born to lean and thin parents in that American study, only 3% had obesity. See how beautiful message is that if you're healthy, your child is going to be healthy unless it's spoiled. But if you're unhealthy, you have made a mistake. You have prepared a manufacturing defective child.
No, that's a good point, and I think that's very good for young couples to think about, so that they maintain their health before they have the child. But I just wanted to come to one more aspect before we come to the final part of our show, is that is there, like we have in our heart, heart problems, heart diseases, we seem to have what is called X gene or whatever it is that makes us more susceptible to heart disease than other people across the world. Is there an X factor in India that makes us susceptible to liver disease in our
Yeah,
genes for some reason?
I'll come, but first, the remaining part of your talk, why the Indian children and obesity is there, because firstly, the kids are not doing as much as effort, and we did a study in Delhi under a project called Smiles to let you know between 18 and 25 years of age, only about 30 or 32% of the boys and girls were walking for 40 minutes, not to talk of exercising. And many of them have high cholesterol and blood pressure in the age of 18 to 25. So the message is if this generation is unhealthy, the next generation, their children, will be more unhealthy. This is a walking gene. We do not want an India of this kind. We want an India where youngsters are smarter, healthier than their parents are. So the movement must start from today. Those who are listening, please get in shape. If you are 18 and you want to have a child at 30, you have to have 10 years of cooling of your genes to become non transmitting that bad habit to your newborn child. Coming to
Interesting.
genes, partly I told you these are walking genes. If your parents are obese or have diabetes or have cancers, then the chances are that you will have some of it. So, in my book, Own Your Body, I have set 10 commandments. And the first commandment is that you should have a virasat. I'll just show you the book if I have.
Sure.
Yeah. This is where I want to show you the book, not for any publicity or for anything, but just
Right.
to tell you that there are 10 commandments in this book. And the
Right.
commandment number one is please draw your family tree.
Right.
Page 290 says, draw your family tree. We always ask, oh, I got this land from my father, and this much from my mother, and this jewelry I got. But please draw, I got from my father diabetes, my mother had blood pressure, and somebody had cancer. So I am made up of genes which were given to me by my parents. My wife has got these genes, they got it from their parents, and the baby that is going to be produced is likely will have all these traits. So today, in the era of personalized medicine, precision medicine, the genes play a huge role. For example, some people you must have come across, sir, I try very hard, but I can't lose weight. These are people who need support. They actually are made up of something, the genes where the fat does not disappear. We have to work hard. So every fat person is not a bad person. You look at somebody and say, oh, this guy must be eating every time. On the other hand, some people who are very lean and thin, but they still have at the age of 20, 25 blood pressure, heart disease, and they are unfortunate because they got the genes from their parents. So, genes have a huge role to play, and fatty liver is the beginning of the problems of a human body. Nearly all cancers, prostate, breast, colon, esophagus, all of them start with a base of extra inflammation in the body. And the extra inflammation is swelling. The chronic irritation is obesity, fatty liver. My friends, I would like to convey that if you want to prevent all these diseases, non communicable diseases, try and get rid of fatty liver. And there is a need for a national initiative on reduction of fatty liver. It will
Which
decrease
is a
our
good
diabetes.
point that you talked about, because in 2020, India declared fatty liver as a non-communicable disease. Now, what does that mean? I mean, by declaring it, what does happen?
Yeah. I'm very happy you raised this point. India leads the world, and we were very happy that the then Health Minister, Dr. Harshvardhan, when we presented these, they got accepted. 21st of February 2021, India was the first country in the world to start screening for fatty liver, and it was a bottom up approach. Means the village workers would just ask those 10 questions, they will start referring people for the next level, and the impact is after 4 years, people are aware of it. The government of India, salutations to them, have taken this to a higher level. Mr. Mansukh Mandavia himself lost weight and said, look, I was having fatty liver and now I'm rid of
Right.
fatty liver. And he told in parliament. Same is true of the current Honorable Shri Nadda Sahab and many, many others, that and they lead by example. The president, the prime minister has certainly led by example by saying to lose fat and obesity. So I think the impact of India going, and still India is numero uno, is still number one in the world in the preparation for fatty liver. But the movement must start from you, all listeners. Movement must start, all readers of India Today, this story. And do not stop there. Teach other 10 and teach other 10, and the change should start. And I'm sure that if you are aware, your children will thank you. Oh, I am born to a healthy parent.
Well, coming to the final part of our program on this, we've talked about the early stages of fatty liver and how you can prevent it and reverse the process that's happening. And of course, to test it, pretty simple. A blood test will reveal whether your liver is dysfunctional or not. You proceed to an ultra scan, which will tell you whether you're on stage 1 fatty liver. And then comes the other issue, that if you now diagnose beyond stage 1 and you have got into a serious problem with the liver, what are the options available to a patient, or what would a doctor advise you to do if your liver has reached beyond stage 1, gone into stage 2, and as progressing towards cirrhosis or complete damage of the liver?
Thank you bringing the points for suffering of those who have stage 2 or stage 3 fatty liver. Many of them, a simple blood test that includes liver function test and your ALT or SGPT. If SGPT is high, I would say normal, try and keep it around 20. Upper limit should be 30. If the SGPT is high, it is a marker of cell death, of
STP, what
cells
did you say?
containing
What is the word you use?
SGPT, SGPT or ALT is a simple blood test. It's a liver enzyme like hemoglobin. Everyone knows hemoglobin. I would like
Right.
everyone to know about SGPT or ALT. This test tells you if it is high. Suppose yours is 60, 70, it's a real cause of worry. So Try to have it around 20 or upper limit of 30 SGPT. Then ultrasound, which tells you the grade of fatty liver. If the grade is 2 or 3, but ultrasound picks up only 30 to 40% of people unless they are advanced fat in the liver. So there are other tests like high blood sugar, high serum insulin, or if you can do elastography, tests like fibroscan, fibrotouch. These are the ones which tells you about fat and the fibrosis in the liver. If you have stage 2 or 3 fatty liver, please try, get it out, and you can come down in a year's time, certainly, to grade 1 or even no fatty liver. Weight loss,
Again, this is without
change in lifestyle,
surgery. Am I right? You're saying you can bring it
no
down without
surgery.
surgery? You,
Yeah.
how do you bring
You
it
can do
down from
without
that
surgery.
level?
But yeah, as I told you, get back to the point of normal weight, reduce your weight, and work out for your exercise with sweating and all that. Change your time of eating, and instead of a dinner plate, use a dessert plate, half the plate. Keep your stomach little bit, empty. And if you change the type of food, the timing of food, and the quantity of food, you lose weight and a restorative sleep. So I would say majority of the people can fatty liver can be reduced. But if the fibrosis has set in, means stage 3 or 4 fibrosis, you certainly need specific drugs. Many good drugs are available. Some of them are available in India, saraglitazar or even vitamin E or maybe pentoxifylline. There are several drugs, and in the US, a new approved drug is resmetirom, but 30 days is like $5,300. So you actually become thin by buying the drug. But all these and the weight losing new, hype, or you take an injection and you lose weight, all these GLP-1, GIP-1 agonists, very expensive. My suggestion is these are meant for people who cannot move, who have no desire to exercise or change their life. And for them, there may be 5-10% weight loss with this. They are effective drugs, but you stop them, again the weight will come back, again the liver will have fat and fibrosis. And thirdly, you might actually lose some of your muscles. So these are people who are inactive or cannot or do not want to do any activity. So avoid them as much as make your life different. And it can reverse. Even stage 3 fibrosis, stage 4 fibrosis can reverse. Do not get disappointed. Yeah, if you have got jaundice, then if the liver has failed, you have fluid in the abdomen, then certainly you require specialist. You can manage yourself by losing weight, changing diet, and others. For advanced disease, you certainly need a specialist. But for everyone who is listening, consider fatty liver as an important thing in your life. You and your family and your children should be aware of it. Own your body. Make yourself the owner that I will not let things go wrong with me.
Very good advice, Dr. Sarin. Just one final point. When you scroll the Instagram these days, you get a lot of these fatty liver cures. There's a tablet, you take this for 20 days and you're fine. How reliable all these tablets are? Is there really anything that can clean up fatty liver like this?
Well, fortunately, I don't read them and I'm not aware. And also, I don't have any Instagram or any such thing. But I will tell you, the liver does not, there is nothing like a detox. There is nothing like you take this and your liver gets better. I wish there were something like this, but it is your metabolism. And metabolism has to be corrected by effort. You have to, earn your health. People can't give you health by, you can't buy your health. So you have to earn your health. Yes, if you have disease, certainly doctors will give you drugs which will decrease fibrosis, which will decrease fat. So my suggestion is, I'm sure those who are saying must be having a lot of science behind it. But if there is no science, there is no publication, there is no evidence-based medicine, I would say avoid these medicines and go to science. But remember, health is not given, health is earned. Earn your health, earn health for your kids, for your families, and be owner of a chiseled, sharp, smart, thin, and a strong body.
Dr. Sarin, brilliant advice. All of us need to follow that, and particularly, as you said, own your body, earn your health, and you can reverse the positions that you are there. You can take the decision now, get into a proper diet that brings your fat down. Make sure that you are testing regularly to see that your fatty liver isn't getting out of hand, and take care of your liver, because if you take care of your liver, you're going to be well. Am I right? That's the big message that's there.
Yes,
on this one.
absolutely. And I do hope after a year you have again a session and we will see the impact and you can have viewers' point of view. What do they say? Do they agree or they don't like me because I'm a little strict? Let us
I'm
be.
sure-
Your title is Truth. And this is the truth. That is the series, Raj, you carry. And this is the truth. And accept the truth. Accept science. Accept
Right.
where you are.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sarin, for taking time out to speak to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
And for more details, you can read the in-depth cover story on the subject done by my colleague Sonali Acharji in the latest India Today. And thank you for being with me in this episode of Nothing But the Truth. I look forward to having you with me next week. Nothing But the Truth.